So, I'm someone in life who wears several different hats. So as you can see from the picture there, I'm a teacher at Barnsley College. I'm also a staff governor at Barnsley College, and I'm also a governor at Jump Primary School. And I'm also, hence the JP after my name, I'm a magistrate in West Yorkshire. So I'm someone who's committed to upholding justice and fairness and devoted to building and guiding the next generation. But most importantly, I'm a son. I'm Helen Elizabeth Birkinshaw's son. So, being a carer for my mum was not just a responsibility. It's become central to who I am. Balancing my duties as a magistrate and teaching whilst caring for my mum was incredibly challenging at many different points. There were days when the weight of it all felt overwhelming, when the demands of my professional life clashed with the emotional, physical toll of caregiving. But through it all, the love of my mum and her determination gave me strength. So my mum, Helen, on the screen, she was born in 1969, and these are some photos, I think, from around the 1970s. I can't quite date which ones they are. And she was one of 7 children to Joan and David, 2 people who play a really massive part in this story as well. And today, I want to share the journey that we went through. And these are just some different photos. So that's from my graduation. That's when I was about 15 or 16, I think. And that was the last photo on my birthday in 2020, I believe, before Helen became ill. And so the story of Helen's battle with encephalitis and my battle looking after Helen started in October 2020. It was an ordinary day that quickly turned into the extraordinary and presented life-changing circumstances. So it was a normal Friday afternoon. My mum had gone to work at one of the 3 jobs that she had, where she began showing symptoms of encephalitis. She was vomiting and she was confused. But at first they seemed innocuous. That could just be anything. It could be a bug. But over the next couple of days, it spiraled into something far, far more serious. So on the Sunday afternoon, on Sunday the 5th of October 2020, she was admitted to Barnsley A&E. And this was the day when my whole world shifted. From October 2020 to December 2020, she suffered a heart attack, encephalitis at the same time, and then was transferred to Northern General Hospital for specialist neurological care. She was then moved to the Royal Hallamshire Hospital, and each day became a battle against the unknown, as I watched someone who I loved dearly deteriorate. And there were several days when I got the phone call from the hospital saying she might not make it through the night. Indeed, I had that call several times over the last couple of years. So from, like I say, in that time, they were treating her, they were treating the encephalitis, and she managed to succeed in her battle. And in December 2020, she was discharged to the Kendry Neurological Rehabilitation Centre, which is in Barnsley, which is a specialist neurological rehab centre. And in all honesty, the NHS worked miracles. They managed to get my mum walking again. They managed to get her being able to speak again. They managed to get her back on her feet. And eventually, in May 2021, she came home. But it was short-lived. And we thought that things would be over when she came home, but no, they weren't. So on June the 18th, 2021, just a month after she was discharged from Kendry, she suffered a stroke. And that was compounded by a COVID-19 diagnosis. So we were back in the hospital, bracing ourselves for another fight, and the following years were a series of ups and downs. So in July 2021, she managed to be released again, and she came back home to us. But then the really serious downturns started to come. In November 2022, Helen was diagnosed with sepsis for the first time. A terrifying ordeal that made us realise just how fragile life can be. And I always remember it was around about Christmas time that year that I'd gone into the hospital in my suit because I was going to a function afterwards, and she'd just come out of the coma that she was put into, that was induced by the sepsis, to which I was informed by the doctor that the first words that Helen had said when she came out of the coma, "I'm a stubborn Yorkshire bird. I won't let no disease beat me." And that is something that she must have stuck by, and she did stuck by for the rest of her life. So then it comes to April 2023. So she's been at home for a month or two. We think things are back to normal, or what would resemble the new normality. And then in April 2023, she was diagnosed with encephalitis for the second time. It cruelly chipped away at her mental faculties, and she really suffered during that period. But they caught it a lot quicker, and the treatment wasn't as long-winded. So just 2 months afterwards, my mum was released at the end of May 2023. Now, anyone who's a football fan will know that May is a really important time for football fans, as it is the League One and Championship playoffs. So I'd gone down to Wembley, I'd gone to watch my beloved team Barnsley, unfortunately lose to Sheffield Wednesday. The day after, I'm sat having breakfast, contemplating the long drive back with a Sheffield Wednesday fan, when we find out that my granddad had sadly passed away. One of the things that I would always say about my mum's illness is it dramatically affected our family, not just me, but my grandma, my granddad, and her 6 brothers and sisters. So from June 2023 until March 2024, we experienced a period of relative peace. Helen's health stabilised. We dared to think that the worst of it was possibly behind us. But in March 2024, the inevitable caught up with us again. And this time, my grandma, after a long, long battle with illness and old age, passed away. It was yet another blow to our family, and one that left us reeling. In the space of just under a year, we'd lost the heads of the family. And then, a couple of months later, June 2024, Helen was rushed back to A&E, back to Barnsley A&E, this time with sepsis again. So she suffered from sepsis twice. And then just days later, on the 27th of June, which just so happened to be my birthday, she suffered a major stroke. And it was then that we decided as a family, and we had to make the most difficult decision of all, to move her to palliative care. Helen was really strong in that time, in all of this time, battling encephalitis twice, sepsis twice, having 2 strokes. She liked pairs. She liked having things twice. And it was the final battle with sepsis that unfortunately she couldn't win. Her body had taken an incredible beating metaphorically, and the drugs that the doctors were giving her would not, her body couldn't basically pump them around her system because she'd had heart attack. And then on the 29th of June, 2 days after my birthday, 9 days after she'd been in hospital, at 14:54, she passed away peacefully, surrounded by her loved ones. And indeed, we always say, and we said this at the funeral, you couldn't get a more Birkinshaw send-off if you tried. It wasn't a sad occasion, as much as you might think it was. The whole family got together, sharing memories. And I think even one of my uncles bought a picnic to the hospital. So we were sat there in one of the side rooms at Barnsley District A&E, all having a picnic, one of the most surreal moments of my life. But as I stand here today, I'm reminded of the incredible strength and resilience that Helen showed throughout her life, especially throughout her illness. Her story is one that should be an inspiration to everyone. Despite relentless challenges, each setback more daunting than the last, Helen never gave in. She never let the weight of circumstances bring her down. Instead, she met every obstacle with unwavering courage and a spirit that refused to be broken. Even in her most vulnerable moments, when the illness tried to strip away her independence and dignity, my mother remained strong to the end. She fought with everything she had, right up until her dying day. Her strength was not just in her will to live, but a refusal to let the hardships define her. It is a legacy of resilience, one that I carry with me every day, and one that I hope will inspire each and every one of you as well. Helen's journey is a powerful reminder that no matter what life throws at us, we have the strength within us to keep going, to keep fighting, and to live each day with courage and grace. A few days after my mum passed away, I found myself doing something quite ordinary. I was sat watching TV. One of my favourite films of all time came on, The Lord of the Rings. Of all the things that could have happened, this was just an attempt to find some distraction, some comfort in the familiar. Yet in the midst of all this grief, everything that was going on, I was sat there, and J.R.R. Tolkien was a fantastic writer, and he wrote one line that stuck with me. How do you pick up the threads of an old life? How do you go back when in your heart you begin to understand? There is no going back. In that moment, I realized just how much these words would resonate with me and how much I feel. Losing my mum felt like the world had shifted beneath me, and I was suddenly standing on unfamiliar ground. The life I knew, the person I had been, seemed so distant, almost unreachable. How do you return to normality after something like this? The truth is, you don't. There's no going back to the way things were. But what I have learned from my mother's strength and from these words is that whilst you can't go back, you can move forward. You find new ways to weave the threads of your life together, carrying the memories and lessons of those that you've lost. My mother's strength, her resilience, has become part of the fabric of my life. And whilst the path ahead is very difficult, shaped by the love and courage that Helen showed every day, I will move forward. And as I reflect on this journey, on the challenges we faced, the roles I had to balance, and the incredible strength that Helen displayed, I'm reminded that life is a series of threads, each one woven together to create the tapestry of our existence. My mother Helen wove her threads with courage, love, and resilience, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire me every day. Thank you all very much for allowing me to share my story with you today, and I hope it serves as a reminder that even in our darkest hours, there is always strength to be found, courage to be drawn upon, and love to guide us forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, you stay near that mic. Fabulous. Thank you so much for that and for sharing your story of your lovely mum. She sounds like an absolutely amazing character, and you must feel her loss deeply. And we so appreciate you sharing your story and with us today. Has anyone got any observations or comments or anything they'd like to say in the audience? No, I think everyone's feeling emotional today, and it's taking a lot just to hear stories and everything.
There is some good news coming up afterwards, don't worry.
We like good news. What would you, to another family that's going through or, you know, might happen, what would you say to them? What would be your key?
I'd say that the key is just remembering that you're not fighting it alone. One of the things that I faced in my professional life is that this almost cost me my job because of the caring responsibilities. And it took me that to realise that you can reach out for help. So there is always help out there if you need it, whether it be a friend, whether it be a colleague, whether it be the Encephalitis International Society helpline. So that's what I would say, I think.
Good one. And when you heard the diagnosis of encephalitis, what did you think? What was that initial thought?
I'd never heard of it. Mm-hmm. I completely never heard of it, and it was all confusing for me because, like I say, we'd originally took her into hospital not knowing what it was, and the symptoms were, I wouldn't want to say innocuous, but there could have been a vast array of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of fear, basically.
Yeah.
And just not knowing what the future held.
Absolutely. And in terms of what's your favourite memory of your mum?
My favourite one, it's the photo it's gone. It's gone off. But it was the photo with a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And as we move on to the next bit, it was from an organisation called Teddies for Love and Care, and she and I won that bear for her in a raffle, and she absolutely loved it. And it's back on screen, yeah, there it is. Bear. And like I said, Teddies for Love and Care is something you might have heard of. It's a charity that gives bears to people that are sick in hospital, and an organisation that I'm part of. We donate very, very generously to it, and we gladly got to raffle off one. And that bear went into her coffin with her. And when we scattered her ashes, it's been scattered with us. I'd say that's probably one of the best memories I've got.
Fabulous. Oh, that's lovely. Really, really touching. Thank you. And you said there was some good news for us?
There is some good news. One of the ways that I've been able to pull through this is by joining an organisation, the Freemasonry. And we are a band of brothers. And one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to raise some money for Encephalitis International. And we had a raffle, and we raised some funds at my meetings. And the lodge have very kindly upped it. So it is with great pleasure that I today present you with a cheque for £1,000.
Yay! Thank you so much.
To help with the ongoing struggle.
Amazing. I've put my mic down. I'll get told off. Thank you so much. This is so appreciated. It just makes all the difference, and we're so grateful. Thank you.
It's just a little thank you from me and from the people that I've worked with.
Well, we're forever grateful, and we will put it to good use. Good. We promise. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
I need to... Indeed. Always nice to have a check. Team, remember I've got this. It's in my pocket. Don't let me just disappear off with it. Thank you.